An unusual disclosure about XRP, one of the most well-known and contentious tokens in the cryptocurrency space, has shocked the market. Recently, the XRP community and the larger crypto world were rocked by a leaked private investor call that purportedly featured Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. Garlinghouse disclosed that Ripple has been aggressively repurchasing an incredible 30 billion XRP tokens from the open market, according to people circulating the audio tape. More significantly, these tokens are allegedly being destroyed forever, completely eliminating them from circulation. We must first comprehend what such a buyback and burn imply in order to completely appreciate the significance of this news. By repurchasing their own shares from the market, firms can boost shareholder value through stock buybacks, which lower the number of existing shares and frequently raise their price. Although buybacks and burns are uncommon in the Bitcoin industry, they both have the same economic function. The total supply is reduced when tokens are destroyed permanently, increasing the scarcity and possible value of the remaining tokens. Since it constitutes a significant fraction of the whole XRP supply, the notion that Ripple is carrying out a buyback and irreversible burn of 30 billion XRP is astounding. There are currently about 50 billion XRP in active circulation out of a total quantity of over 100 billion coins. The circulating supply would be cut by about 60% if 30 billion tokens were removed, causing a supply shock that would cause the price to rise sharply. For years, investors have dreamed about this. However, we must thoroughly examine the veracity and ramifications of this released material before we become overly optimistic. It is challenging to confirm with certainty that the audio tape is that of Brad Garlinghouse or that the words were uttered in the context in which they appear due to its extreme distortion. The buyback and burn accusations have not been verified or refuted by official Ripple personnel. In the past, Ripple has repurchased XRP, but instead of destroying the tokens completely, the money was usually transferred into escrow wallets or stored for later use in marketing campaigns or company operations. So why is this rumor so important if it is true? Because the price dynamics of any item are essentially determined by its supply side. Concerns over its supply and the effects of Ripple's huge token holdings have plagued XRP for a while. At first, the business held on to billions of XRP, some of which were subsequently released via escrow arrangements. In addition to offering liquidity, these planned releases can drive down prices when significant quantities hit the market. The scarcity effect might completely upend the valuation model if Ripple chooses to permanently burn tokens instead. We must also consider Ripple's present financial situation and business style while evaluating this possible buyback. The main source of income for Ripple is the sale of XRP, which it uses to finance operations, technological advancements, and network partnership expansion. The company's emphasis on cross-border payment solutions via the XRP ledger and RippleNet is drawing in banks and other financial institutions searching for quicker, less expensive international money transfers. Ripple has the financial capacity to carry out sizable buybacks if it decides to do so strategically because of its consistent cash flow and growing usage. Furthermore, a permanent burn would effectively align Ripple's incentives with those of XRP holders. All holders gain from token scarcity since it may raise token value, which in turn increases trust in Ripple's network and business strategy. A positive feedback loop is produced as a result. A higher token value as a result of increased acceptance encourages greater use and ecosystem investment. Now, let's examine the economics of such a large-scale supply shock in more detail. A permanent removal of 30 billion XRP tokens from circulation would reduce the amount of coins in circulation to about 20 billion. According to economic principles, prices should rise significantly due to scarcity, assuming that demand stays the same or increases, which is a plausible prediction given Ripple's growing institutional relationships. Investors who are already acquainted with the mechanics of asset deflation may remember such situations in other cryptocurrencies that included token burning, including Shiba Inu or Binance Coin, where planned burns have been attributed to generating sustained price increases. Now, using some rough market capitalization arithmetic, a price of 10 per XRP would result from a market valuation of 200 billion, which Ripple has already approached in previous bull cycles, and a circulating supply of only 20 billion XRP. However, if the buyback and burn serve as stimulants for institutional adoption and rekindled retail enthusiasm, several analysts predict even greater market caps. For example, the price of XRP would be $50 per token if it reached a 1 trillion market cap with this reduced supply. The price of XRP might rise to $250 if it is valued at $5 trillion, which would put it in line with the valuations of some of the biggest businesses in the world. Addressing the community's excitement and FOMO in relation to this news is also crucial. Sentiment drives the cryptocurrency market, and stories of supply shocks have historically led to frantic buying and price spikes. This scenario, in contrast to many speculative speculations, contains a credible corporate strategy that is backed by Ripple's financial strength and the continuous need for effective cross-border payments. This is maybe one of the most genuine bull drivers in recent cryptocurrency history if it is a corporate-driven supply cut. However, Given that the legitimacy of the leaked calls is still unknown and Ripple's stated position on XRP burns has historically been rather conservative, the scenario definitely screams for caution. In addition, market dynamics are, well, complicated. Price growth is dependent on ongoing demand as well as broader macroeconomic factors including legislative changes, competition from other cryptocurrencies, and global financial conditions, even in the event of a significant fall in supply. To be honest, the timing of such a burn is also very important. The impact might be enormous if Ripple announces or carries out this buyback and burn during a positive market cycle. The price response, on the other hand, may be subdued or, delayed in a bearish situation. Investors should therefore keep a careful eye on Ripple's public remarks regarding chain activity and general market mood. Transparency is another important factor in this case. The open and real-time tracking of transactions is one of the special benefits of blockchain technology. The transfer of 30 billion XRP into certified burn addresses will be publicly viewable on the XRP ledger in the event that Ripple carries out a large-scale burn. This degree of openness lends legitimacy and, to be honest, can greatly increase investor trust. It's worthwhile to investigate Ripple's more general strategic objectives in addition to market and supply factors. Many thanks for listening. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Additionally, to be the first to know when I post new stuff, make sure you enable the alerts. I can't wait to see you again in the next video.